All right, today I'm going to talk about how you can deprogram yourself and actually reprogram. And why would I say reprogram? Why would we want to reprogram? There is some of that should be put in place because we're still in the matrix. I'm going to stay there until we decide to leave the game. Nothing wrong with that. We're not trying to escape the matrix. We came here, we want to play the game. You're going to love this because this is going to be like no-brainer for you. But how do you deprogram yourself? We talked about the great deprogramming going on. I'll talk a little bit about that and why you might want to accelerate that. It's going to be great. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. Because when you break through fears, what's on the other side of that? Everything. What would you do if you didn't fear? I teach people how to break through it because we're on a planet where it exists. Use it. You need fear, right? We need fear to know what not to do. Ah! I need to know to run when the bear is chasing me. That's fear. So we don't want to eliminate it. It serves a great purpose, but let's talk today about the deprogramming that's going on. Now, I shot a video. I became very aware that people seem to be coming out of this, well, acceptance of programming, because everything's a choice. So even though somebody programs you and tells you something and you believe it, you still have the choice to not believe, and that's what's happening right now. We're actually aware that I don't need to believe that anymore, and maybe they weren't right, and just because my family has passed that belief down forever, who says it's right? And we're starting to come into consciousness, which is awakening. And as we do that, the frequency of the planet, this is scientific, frequencies raise up, and you get different results when you're on high frequency, right? You tune into another radio station, you're getting classical music instead of rock and roll. Nothing wrong with rock and roll. Nothing wrong with rock and roll. So what are we going to do now about all of this going on? We're going to start questioning everything. If you would like to go into a different space, and what I want to explain now, before I explain how we're going to do this, is the program exists. It has to, because it's an illusion and it's a game we're playing. If I removed the Pac-Man Pro software, you'd be standing in front of a machine blank. What? It's not working. Unplugged it. So the program's going to stay in place, but we changed the program. We're changing the program. This is why we're not going to eliminate the program. We're deprogramming our limitations and our lower frequency. So I'm saying, as I shared with you about the homeless people, I saw a homeless person different than my friend. He was programmed to believe that they were less than somebody else, that they somehow screwed up, or they were drug addicts, or whatever story we tell ourselves, and that they're not really humans on the same level. Come on, let's be really honest. Have you thought that before? Well, he stood off and didn't want to talk to this person when I got the sandwich for the guy. And he started to talk a little bit later on about wow, it was sort of a nice guy, right? He was, it sort of, I was running through his head, probably maybe feeling a little shameful. He didn't say that, but I had the feeling he was a little ashamed that I was talking to this guy and treating him like a human and getting a sandwich and he wouldn't even approach us. And so that whole situation was beautiful because it was an in-your-face, what am I doing? I'm programmed. I don't have to think that, and Landria thought differently. And we're very good friends, so that was an example, and you can be the example to others, not the in-your-face, you should do this, or you're wrong. You want to be the person that shines the light. So when you are the example and you let go of the programming, so what if I gave him money and he spent it on drugs? It doesn't matter. When you give freely and you treat the other person as an equal and you're doing what you feel is the best response at that time. Now, if I knew that person was going to, do something horrible, I wouldn't hand them a gun, right, or a knife, So you want to be very smart about your decisions. Because there are lower frequencies who just are in a space where they're not making the higher decisions. But what we want to do is we want to reprogram ourselves to respond in an illusion. There are people, homeless people on the streets. There is violence. There are situations that we have to be aware of. So we have to reprogram ourselves for a different response in a game, in an illusion, all right? You know, you get the sword and the key and the crown, you pick these things up, and along the journey you may use them like, oh, there's a chest. Oh, I'll use the key. Oh, yes, it opens it up, and that's all we're doing. We're bringing all these tools and gifts with us and saying, at some point I'm going to be able to use this because it's a game. All right, so the deprogramming, the great deprogramming is we're realizing we don't like what we're seeing. We don't like it. And I just want you to know, we're not going into some crazy stuff here. We're actually creating a completely new world. We are always in control. Always will be in control because we are the essence, the creation, and creators of the universe. But we've never recognized that. So, deprogramming. Is it possible I really hold that power? Why would you think you don't? Because you've been programmed to think it's wrong and we should be like down here and there's some man in a robe. Hey, I'm not making fun of this stuff because, I asked my mom once, Mom, do you think God's like a man out there in a robe? And she had to think about it. She went, yeah. Who told her that? Somebody had to tell her that for her to even think that. I went, okay, end of discussion. I'm not going to tell you what I think that is. So it didn't matter what she thought. It's what I think that counts because I'm in control of my feelings and thinking, and I didn't choose to believe what my parents thought. They were a little bit more on the religious side. Didn't push or teach that to me, but they believed these things. They were programmed. And if you argued anything, outside of that, I know for a fact my dad would have stood there and, made his point, thinking he's doing the right thing. So when you get into arguments, you're programmed. You're programmed because you have a side. Higher beings don't take sides. There's no side in the quantum field. There's no sides. So what you want to do is if you want to deprogram yourself, and we'll talk about reprogramming here in a second. If you want to deprogram yourself and find out if you've limited yourself, question everything. Question me. Question everything. Question everything. Is that really true? And what is the result of that belief? Is it fear? Is it a lower frequency? Is it separation? Judgment? Those are now frequencies. So I want you to think of everything as a frequency. Now I'm choosing a frequency now. If I choose a belief and I program myself to believe that's how things are. If it's a lower frequency, you're going to feel the separation, argument, they're wrong, they're taking sides, judgment. You'll feel all of that. Fear. So do you want to stay there? Because you can make a different choice and you can believe something completely different, which is, by the way, compassion and love. It feels a lot better to look at somebody else and see the light in them, even if they are acting like a jackass. Right? Because a majority of people are in that space, but they're coming out of it. They're realizing, I don't want to do this. I don't want to steal anymore. I don't want to talk badly to people. I don't want to separate myself from others because we're different colors or religions. That doesn't feel good anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. And they're starting to question why they thought that in the first place. Are you feeling this? This is the deprogramming that's naturally happening because why? The more of us who choose higher thoughts and we eliminate the separation and the programming that has caused conflict, the higher frequency goes into the collective and it affects everyone. So people who aren't even seeking enlightenment, don't even care about that, are feeling something different. And they're going to look at something one day just a little bit differently, maybe with compassion, and they raise their frequency a little. This is how it works. You don't have to run around, thumping a Bible or the Quran or, your spiritual books or whatever. You can just say, listen, but deprogramming is always are the way. Always are the way. If you are going to a higher frequency, there's no one way there. It's your individual journey in the illusion. That's the program. You get to feel like you're an individual. You can experience a different reality. So how do you reprogram yourself? You can reprogram yourself to now live in the world in a different kind of way. So I'm going to reprogram myself to respect all nature, to understand that I have to know that everything that I do, I'm responsible for everything that happened up to that point. So if you're eating meat and it's in factory farms, and here in the United States is horrible, how they treat animals, you have to be responsible and look back and say, I can no longer tell myself that it's okay and not look at that. So you have to reprogram yourself and say, I have to do my homework. I have to be responsible. I have to make different decisions. And I have to now say, everything has to be about out here because that is me. And what I'm putting into this field, I just shot a video. I got a major download I was in this beautiful state. And I got this information about how that works. So every time you put that new decision, that new program in, you're reprogramming the whole system, not just you. Because again, you raise the frequency and everyone feels it. So more people will make those higher choices. Fewer people will want to harm animals or plants or anything. It's just going to be a natural frequency raise, a deprogramming. All right, so the reprogramming is now I'm making a conscious choice in a world that's physical. So I'm going to deprogram myself, but I can just walk around like a little butterfly. I have to function here. I have to make a decision about how I earn my money, how I speak to people, what I do and don't accept about religion or anything else. What's my stance on things? Do I have to have a stance? No, you don't. You don't. And it's okay if other people do. So can you go into that space? So the deprogramming is question everything. Just question everything. Is that really true? Is divorce bad? My mother said, by the way, my parents never got divorced. She said, marriage is the most unnatural state two people can be in. She goes, take two people that love each other, they look great, everything's great, put them together 24/7 in the worst of circumstances and the best. She goes, and it's basically a buzzkill, right? She didn't use that term. And I thought that was really funny. So it's like, who says you're meant to be with one person for the rest of your life? We evolve and change. So let's say this works and it doesn't anymore. Instead of arguing like we always do, right and wrong, and you wish the other person goodbye, and you go off to somebody else that you connect better with. And they go off and you learn and evolve. So can you get rid of those rules? Sure you can. If you're not ready to, you don't have to. That's the deprogramming that says, I'm going to question this. Who told me that I had to do this? Who told me it was wrong to job hop? I know people who do that. Entrepreneurs, very, very smart business people, jump all over the place. They got 101 things going on at the same time. We name and label that. Are you done with the labels and the names? That's the deprogramming. Reprogramming, I'm going to choose just higher choices. Higher choices. I'm going to put others first. It's going to be beautiful. I think you're going to love this. So if you're ready to join that new earth that we're forming, you will contribute to the collective. And it's not just about you. The entire multiverse is affected because it's one thing. Beautiful, isn't it? I hope you'll subscribe and share my videos, help grow my channel, and let YouTube know that positive messages of empowerment and oneness, community, and compassion are what you want to hear more of. Now, if you guys have seen that's internet training that I took 10 years ago to create online businesses, and you could do that too. First thing some people think is the absolute worst thing. It's training, teaching you how to become a business owner online, doing what you love. Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's helping people. One of my students, she's going to help people through grief. She lost 2 kids. and just random bizarre things. And she said she's creating a business to help them. She's going to coach. So can you see the higher, just view things on a higher basis? Like, think the best of people, see the light in things. Yeah, try that first. That would be a higher choice. The reprogramming also is, you don't have to hang around with everybody. I have a video on that, and that is, we're still in the material world in a program. So if you're in danger, use fear. These are free videos. Come on over. I have free master classes, and now I'm going to be doing some very cool coaching. If you want to participate in that, come see the free stuff, the free master class. You can view that. I think it'll be very helpful for you. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.